Welcome in, everybody, to Championship Weekend here on ZB's Horsepower Talk. As always, I'm ZB Zach Brown, and joined with me, as always, is former 410 Sprint Car crew chief and mechanic, my dad, Jeff Brown. We've made it to the Championship Weekend for two of our 3 or 4 biggest series right now. And NHRA's next week. We'll do a little preview of that next week. This week is where it all matters, the biggest series of all motorsports. NASCAR, all 3 series are trying to chase their dreams for a championship this weekend. The Truck Series, Xfinity, and Cup Series. In the Cup Series, you have Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, William Byron, Ryan Blaney. Xfinity, you have Austin Hill, AJ Allmendinger, Cole Custer, Justin Allgaier. And in the Trucks, you have Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes, Ty Majeski, and Corey Heim. And as we're doing this right now, the Truck Series race is about to start. So chat is open for everybody. We are live right now. So let's dive right into the championship. Let's get into it. The biggest shocker right now, Christopher Bell, who we pretty much guaranteed was going to be the Final Four, did not make it as he was disqualified for his last lap pass, similar to a Ross Chastain type pass, giving it to William Byron. So now the championship 4 is set.
Yeah, and also, let's see, teams of Ross Chastain, which ironically, the rule for Christopher Bell was the cause of that, and Bubba Wallace and Austin Dillon. They were kind of blocking to get a Chevy into the Final Four. NASCAR didn't like that too much. Bubba Wallace, well, he wasn't blocking, but he was purposely losing spots there at the end, trying to get Christopher Bell to come up in there. And I don't think we got any sound, do we? There we go.
No, you have sound. You're good.
Oh, okay.
I heard you. Yeah, you're crystal clear.
Okay.
No, So big penalties happen there, sorry, wife's calling me, so she knows I'm recording right now. But and Kyle Larson, who we thought was going to make the championship 4 as well, he had to really get to win the race at the end. I think
he had a shot. I mean, he stayed out on old tires, and he was good till, I don't know, about 20 laps to go. And then that last 20 laps, Ryan Blaney was an absolute rocket ship coming up through there.
It was.
He was like, I don't know, 4 seconds behind and just ran everybody down and left them sit.
It's been a lot of deja vu from last year because Ryan Blaney had to win. He had to get that win and lock himself in. He did it once again. And, I mean, what an awesome driver to get a win. I mean, of course, we're not Ford guys by any means, but Ryan Blaney is an awesome driver. How can you not like Ryan Blaney? He's got a great personality for sport. He's a great champion of the sport. It was incredible to see him come up through the field and claim that win. For a while, I thought Chase Elliott was going to get the win. His car looked great, but I don't know what they did to Ryan Blaney's car to adjust on it through the entire – if it was a 400-lap race, Chase Elliott probably was going to get a win. But Ryan Blaney, last 100 miles, 100 laps, like you said, rocket ship. He came up right through the field. He deserved the win. He locks himself into Phoenix. Now we got an exciting Final Four there for the Cup Series.
Maybe a slight surprising Final Four. I don't know. Weischer's heck didn't have these 4 in.
I had Joey and Blaney. I'd had 2 of the Penske's in. No, I didn't have Joey in, but I'm not surprised with Joey. That's what it was. I don't know if I had Byron. I'm not shocked with Byron. I'm not shocked with Blaney. I'm not shocked with Joey. I think we're all shocked that Tyler Reddick made it to the Final Four. I think that's probably the biggest.
Little shocked Larson didn't. Little shocked Denny Hamlin did not.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a couple big names that didn't make it. Denny Hamlin's time, it's really coming to getting close to the end. I mean, he's 44, and I think it was Jeff Burton brought up that not too many older drivers. Well, I don't think anybody over the age of 44 has won a championship, or only 1 or 2 or something like that. There's only been like a handful.
You just slow down a little bit when you get older.
And they were like, well, we don't really know why. It just happens. And I mean, we'll see if he can break the trend. I just don't think he's going to ever win a championship. I think the door's pretty much closed on a championship. I think he'll still win races. I don't think he's going to be in the racing in the sport too much longer full time. That's just my thoughts on that. But now let's move to the Truck Series, since that's actually happening tonight. we can do a quick preview on that. We'll dive into each race individually as well. And I do have a question before we dive into the Cup Series portion of it. So, the Truck Series has Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes, Tom Majeski, and Corey Heim. Corey Heim's probably been the favorite all year. Between him and Christian Eckes, been the fastest trucks all year long. Grant Enfinger's coming out of nowhere these last couple weeks and just dominating these races and getting wins when he needed to. Now he's got all the momentum heading in. Tom Majeski, I believe he has the pole for tonight, if I'm not mistaken. I saw it pulled up. But I think they're all within the top 10. And I think this is going to be where you, on each race, you're going to have to win the championship. I don't think you're going to see somebody like last year with Ross Chastain in the Cup Series pull off an upset. I think one of the Final Four in each of the series is going to get a win. I'd be shocked if that didn't happen. So let's talk about Phoenix, give our truck pick, and then talk a little bit more individually about these races. So Phoenix has changed over the last couple years. So remind people that might not know, how has Phoenix changed from where it was its original configuration up to what it is now?
Basically, they took the front stretch, made it the back stretch, and just flopped everything around. So Phoenix is a neat track. It's flat. It's got a dog leg going through it. The cars will be 5, 6 wide going through that dog leg. It's rough. It's dirty down there. They come back up on the track. They should have more tracks like it. It's kind of, I mean, it's an oval. It's a weird shaped oval. Kind of almost races like a road course in one aspect, just the way you go in and to outbreak the other teams. And then, the other half of the track is a traditional oval, and they haul around there pretty good. It's an interesting track, in the middle of the desert, mountains around everywhere. You'll see a bunch of people up on, I think they call it Rattlesnake Hill or something like that. It's really a neat track. It's definitely one of a kind, and I think it's a great place to finish the season out, just because the track is so interesting. It's definitely not your run-of-the-mill cookie-cutter mile and a half for sure. So it's I think it's just over 1 mile in length on the track. But like I said, it's relatively flat, and I said it's just neat. The restarts are going to be exciting. You think Pocono's neat, Phoenix is going to be wild. Do you think
the racing has improved there since they reconfigured it to where the start finish line is where the old 3 and 4 is, and now it's the 1 and 2 now? Oh no, it's the old 3 and 4. It's the new 1 and 2. Yeah,
it seems like it just because of the way the dog leg goes. It's there's so much more room. You're especially coming down to the end. The track's 150 feet wide. You could dive down through there, try to run her down through the dirt, and it's a lot shorter. It's dirty, it's flat, but you can make up time if your car handles correctly. So I think last lap passes could be quite exciting. You don't have to just run into somebody, move them out of the way. There's plenty of room to move around. So there's where your chess match comes. It's like if you're leading and somebody's catching you, where do they go? How do you block that?
Well, all three races are going to be very different from each other. So the Truck Series starts a lot later. It starts here, I think, at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, and which is about 6 o'clock, so the sun's going to start going down in Phoenix. It's going to finish under the lights. Xfinity, I believe, starts around maybe 5 or 6 Eastern tomorrow on Saturday, and then Sunday is an afternoon race for the Cup Series. Now, that makes it interesting because you have the track getting slick under the hot sun. I get that, and I get that it's Sunday. I think this race would be perfect for a night race championship caliber type finish. To add any more pizzazz to a championship, I think you add some fireworks to it. It finishes under the lights. I'm not saying it has to be run until like midnight or something, but start later in the evening, transition to the night. Then you have a little bit of everything, throwing curveballs to all the teams, especially running for the championship. That could be a better way to approach it. And I'm with you. I like Phoenix. I think first of all, it's a great city. There's a reason NASCAR keeps going back here, because they say it's one of the best cities to host major events like this. It's a great track to host this. They sell out every year. I still would like them to periodically change where the championship is run. I'd like it probably between Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Homestead. Three cities and tracks that could definitely host this race, then this type of caliber race. But yeah, so what can you expect different from the Truck Series besides wrecking? Let's not get into that. But between that and the Xfinity and the Cup, being that this is pretty much going to be under the lights the whole time.
Yeah, well, the one thing is if anyone's ever been out west and in the desert, it gets cold as soon as that sun goes down. So that track temp is going to drop way down. I think there's going to be actually quite a lot of grip. I don't think tire wear is going to be a big issue on the trucks. So I think they're going to be actually for the trucks. I think they're going to be getting around there really fast. I think the track's going to be in good shape, cool air, making power. Tires are grippy. I think there's so now we talked about the getting 4, 5, 6 wide. Trucks getting 4, 5, 6 wide. You better white knuckle that one getting in there because who knows where the hell they're going to end up.
Turns 1 and 2 is going to be interesting when they make that first turn, especially how flat that turn is.
Late race restart. Oh man, it's going to get real then.
So if I'm not mistaken, the truck race last year, all 4 ended up in some sort of wreck during the race, and it was basically survival of the fittest. I don't think you'll see that this year. I will give trucks credit where credit's due. There have been a lot less cautions this year than there have been in the past. I think maybe the talent is improving. Plus, you have some drivers that are, I guess, getting demoted going into the truck series that have experience in higher series and kind of bring that to it, and they're not such squirrel bags, for lack of a better term. All right, well, the truck series, let's dive into our pick right here. Who is your pick to win the race and or the championship? Like I said, all of my picks are championship 4 because I think you have to win the race to win the championship.
I agree with that one. So this one, maybe at the beginning of the year, might consider it a long shot, but he has been on fire. So I'm going to go with Grant Enfinger to come home with the championship.
There is no way we picked the same damn picks today.
Oh, we did.
All right, I've got Grant Enfinger. I mean, momentum is huge in all sports, especially racing. When you have everything clicking between the driver and the pit crew and everybody else back at the shop, that just adds a little bit more, and it makes you perform better. So, yes, I have Grant Enfinger as well winning the championship. That would be a huge upset because I think it really was Eckes and Heim all year long, and now it's down to Enfinger's not a long shot anymore. All right, well, the Xfinity Series, like I said, it's going to be a later afternoon race on Saturday. This Final Four, not really surprised really by any of it. Maybe A.J. Allmendinger.
Maybe.
But other than that, Austin Hill expected. Cole Custer to defend his title expected. Allgaier seems like he's the Denny Hamlin of the Xfinity Series. He gets to the Final Four every year and loses. I feel so bad for him. He's tried so hard for so long to do it. And obviously A.J. Allmendinger. I don't think anybody's really going to be upset with any of these that win. Fans would really love to see A.J. Allmendinger or Allgaier win it. That would be that crowd would erupt with either one winning. What can you expect with the Xfinity Series?
Well, so there, we're going to have a little more track temperature early in the race. I don't know when sunset now. Phoenix is 2 hours behind us now because they don't change their time, so makes things a little more interesting. But so starting earlier, and after having the truck race, probably not going to get any rain, so they're still going to have rubber on the track. But I think during the day, because like you get out there, that sun's beating, it's hot, and as soon as it goes down, it cools off. So I'm going to assume they're going to be finishing probably at dusk and under the lights. So the temperatures are, at the end of the race, the cars are going to handle way different than the beginning of the race. But like you said, I think one of those 4 is probably going to have to win the race to get this one. And AJ and I talked about it. I said this track races a little bit like like a road course. Does that play in the AJ Allmendinger's hands? I guess we'll find out tomorrow.
The longest shot winner out of the top 4 is AJ Allmendinger. He is plus 1,000. I did 2 bets this weekend in Xfinity and Cup, and I parlayed them together. I'll release that to you guys later on. But in the Xfinity, who's your pick to win the race, win the championship, and hoist that trophy?
He finally gets it this year. Justin Allgaier.
You really want to jinx him, don't you? But I did
Sorry,
not pick Justin Allgaier. I'm going with the long shot to win the race, win the championship. I think this would be amazing to see. I've got AJ Allmendinger to win the championship in the Xfinity Series.
I don't think he'd be excited and happy or nothing.
No, not at all. All right, so before we preview our final fantasy, if you will, for NASCAR for this year. So there's some drivers obviously I can't use because I've used up Larson and all that fun stuff. I still got some decent drivers in this one. But here's the question of the day, and whoever's following along, make sure you drop it in the chat if you know the answer before I give you the answer. Who is the last NASCAR Cup Series driver to win the Daytona 500 and win the championship in the same year? William Byron is the defending champion of the Daytona 500. Can he get it done this year? Who was the last one to do it?
Wow. That's tough. I'm thinking it's been a little while, like Jimmy Johnson.
You are correct. Jimmy Johnson in 2013, he won the Daytona 500 and won the championship that year. So that was the last time, so it's been 11 years. Can William Byron do it again? It's the first driver since 2020 to have a shot to do that, and did not happen in 2020. So we will see what happens with that one. So let's pull up our fantasy lineup. So let me pull up yours. It'll be on the screen here in a second. All right, so go ahead with your fantasy lineup. I've got it pulled up on the screen for everybody to see.
All right, so my starters, going down limb on all these. So I got Joey Logano in the Final Four, Kyle Larson not in the Final Four, Denny Hamlin not in the Final Four, William Byron in the 4, Ryan Blaney in the 4, and in my garage, Christopher Bell. So I got one left of all these guys. I'm just going to let them roll, see what happens. Well. So in my featured matchup, and this one's tough, Blaney and Logano. I have Joey Logano over Ryan Blaney. I have William Byron over Tyler Reddick. I see Tyler Reddick struggling on this race for some reason. That's just my mind. So it means he'll probably go out and win. So you're welcome, Tyler. So I have Larson over Hamlin, and I do have Chase Elliott over Ross Chastain. Even though Ross Chastain did win this race last year, which was,
surprising.
I think he's actually a slight. Oh, they're about the same odds there on that one.
Give or take, yeah. All right, well, it's fairly similar now or so. My lineup is, I have a lot of Final Four. I couldn't use all the Final Four because I ran out. Tyler Reddick. I have Ross Chastain. I actually have not used Chastain at all in the playoffs, but this defending winner of it, it's got to be a solid choice. Ryan Blaney, defending series champion. He came second place last year. We'll see what he can do this year. Christopher Bell. He got cut short this year and cut short last year in the Final Four race because some brake issues, but I think the car can be pretty fast. Joey Logano, it's Joey in a championship 4. It's hard to go against him to put in the lineup. And I've got Alex Bowman, hometown kid, in my garage. All else fails, throw him in with someone else, see what happens. Ryan Blaney versus Joey Logano, I'm with you. I've got Joey Logano in this one. William Byron versus Tyler Reddick. I think Byron will have a slight advantage over Reddick. Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson. I've got Kyle Larson over Denny Hamlin. And actually I have Ross Chastain over Chase Elliott in this one. So there are no hot picks in this. They are only giving you good picks. So good pick, Ryan Blaney. Shocker. Good pick, Ross Chastain, defending winner of this race.
That's some pretty good odds there at the 1,700.
Yeah, avoid Austin Dillon. I could have told you that.
Well.
Avoid Alex Bowman. Well, he's my garage, so we'll see. And
Bowman runs good here. That's actually quite surprising.
and this is back-to-back weeks of the sleeper as Chase Briscoe.
I think he's been like this. He and Chris Buescher have been the sleeper all year, I think.
Seems like it. Definitely seems like it. So, all right.
So last race for Stuart Haas, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, but then it'll just be the Haas factory team next year.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, here's something a little interesting though. I want to share. So I was looking the NASCAR Cup Series owner points because Larson missed out on running at Charlotte where Justin Allgaier sub for him. So I was just curious. So right now we have the number 12 Team Penske of Ryan Blaney, the owner. He is leading. The number 5 of Hendrick Motorsports is 1 point behind. 24 is 2 points behind, and the 20 is 34 points behind.
Wow.
I thought that was so. I don't think. I'm just assuming that goes for throughout the whole year. They don't do like a playoff.
No, I don't think so, and I don't think there's ever been or at least it's been a long time since they've had a different owner.
Oh well, no, I'm lying to you. They just looking at the points. They do because the 5th place is like 2,700 points out.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So they do. So that is a little more interesting, or at least different than the. So we got 2 of them that are not in the drivers' championship, but are still in for the owners' championship. So that's kind of interesting. So there's something,
could be a good chance that you see a different champion and different owners' champion.
It could very well.
That would be.
Yeah, we got half the field could either be, it's either going to be Blaney or Byron that win them. Well, even that. Byron may not even make up the. Well, it depends on who runs second, I guess. That's going to be kind of interesting.
Yeah, that'll be the big storyline come Sunday. Before we give the picks, what are you looking at for this Cup Series, and how can these drivers, I guess, transition from the spring and relate it to the fall race?
Well, it's funny. You think if you ran good in the spring, you'd be able to come back and get into these tracks and be fast. And it seems like these tracks, I don't know if it's the technology changes or this and that, but they seem to always come back. Like you bring the same setup, you're probably going to suck. So, and this one it's hard to go against this guy. He got it advanced on a technicality, goes out and wins the next week, gets into the Final Four. It just seems like a Joey Logano type year. Yeah, used to really not like Joey, but he kind of growing on you a little bit. So I think Joey Logano is going to win the race and the championship, and Mom also agrees.
Mother.
You got it too?
Yeah, and so for everybody listening, I did parlay these together between AJ Allmendinger and Joey Logano as my Cup Series pick for the championship, so I'll release that. But yes, this really feels like a Joey Logano year. Where has he been the last couple races? Very, very quiet. Where was he the last couple races before his last championship? Very, very quiet. What about the first one? Very, very quiet. It is a very much Joey Logano year, almost like they've been prepping, getting ready for Phoenix, just kind of getting through those races, which we said, if you advance right away, you probably almost have 2 weeks off, and then you start experimenting with stuff back home. So, yes, I have Joey Logano as the 2024 Cup Series champion, and he will have championship number 3.
Yep, 3-time champ.
All right. Well,
first out of the 4, if I had to pick one, I would hope to win. I would probably, even though he's a Ford, I'd probably root for Ryan Blaney. I like Blaney. Seems like a good guy.
I'm not really going to hate any of them they win, really. But, you could see a back-to-back champion with Blaney. It was hard for me to pick, but it's also hard for me to go against Joey because of what he's done in the past. And it just, again, it feels like his type of year to get it done. And so we'll see what happens. It's going to be a very interesting race on Sunday. There's one more race we have to preview, and it's actually ongoing this entire week. We're really just previewing the last one. It's pretty much a lock unless something crazy happens. The World of Outlaws has the World Finals at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. They've raced all week. Wednesday was their qualifying night. Thursday was a feature, Friday's a feature, and Saturday kind of merges together, has one major event. So Carson Macedo and David Gravel are the only two mathematically in it. David Gravel gets a win last night, and it basically stays about the same point lead as he had over Macedo before, maybe little bit more. The biggest thing is Gravel has to crash this weekend, and Macedo has to win. That is really the only chance Carson Macedo has. But it's look at it more like this. You look at it, who can use this race to build upon it as momentum going into next year. You only have about 2 months off until you start getting ready for the next year. I'm really looking at winners. We don't even need to give a championship pick because it's David Gravel. I would be beyond shocked if something happened and that Macedo ended up winning. It hasn't happened yet. That Gravel's had bad luck.
Even when Gravel has problems, they get that thing back out and he don't have problems. It's amazing that team.
And Macedo can have the best night possible. Gravel he won't finish worse than 19th.
No, Gravel has to stay within 19 spots if Macedo wins.
And
he would have to crash out right at the beginning.
Hats off to David Gravel and that team. They have shown time and time again championship caliber team, a championship caliber team. I mean, they've wrecked sort of, and basically rebuilt a car in 5 minutes.
They do everything right,
and
that's for sure.
And they got the most wins all through the whole year. Tack on another win from last night. 69Ks down here right now. Logan Wagner's running. Had a pretty solid race last night. We'll see what he can build on.
I think
he
was
tomorrow.
11th last night. Anthony Macri down. He ran 10th.
He was top 10. He was just ahead of Logan. So some Pennsylvania guys showing out here. They usually do every year. It's a fairly easy drive for them to come down the interstate from PA. Not too big of a deal for them, considering some of them go all across the country with high limit and everything. I'd love for it to where Larson could run in the finals. That probably will never happen unless they make the championship race at Charlotte.
They'd have to change weekends.
Yeah, unless they make the championship race at Charlotte, which I think would be cool. I've been saying that would work. The weather's beautiful this week. It's in the 70s.
You know what? Might as well have the dirt track Charlotte going there. You might
Z-Max.
as well have Z-Max going, and what the hell?
Listen.
That would be badass.
We only have so many police officers here, so it's only so much we could do with that work. All right, so for our race pick for the World Finals, so I'm diving into like this. The last time the World Finals were the week when I was there a couple years ago. This week is similar to this as a couple years ago. It's been kind of wet. The track, yes, it's going to be dusty because it's a dusty shithole, like we like to say, as a lack of a better term. It does put on decent races if there are multiple groups.
To be fair, we got sprint cars,
God,
World Outlaw late models, and big block modified. So
yeah, it's a lot for a small track.
Cars running on this track.
It's a lot for a small track. You will be filthy if you're anywhere in that area.
Yeah, and it's not very good clay. It looks like an Ohio track. It really does.
Now it can put on
races well.
It can put on good racing, but it comes down to who can run the bottom. It always does.
It'll probably get rubber down eventually.
Yes, and there's the moisture in the air this week. We finally had some rain after it being basically in a drought, and so that throws a little bit of curveball than what has seen. It's not as chilly as it has been in the past. Last year was a lot colder than it is this year. It's in the 70s and 80s this week. Last year I think it was chilly. I think I actually had a coat on at work in this race. But I'm looking at it as 2 years ago as a very similar race. So that's why I'm going with this pick. And I'm going to go with it because I'm tired of me copying you, it seems like. So I'm going with Donnie Schatz to close out this year in the World Finals. He won this race from 18th or 19th a couple years ago. There was just enough moisture in the air and moisture in the track. He was able to hook the bottom, and he was the only one that was able to do it. And I think you could see very similar things for this one. Built on, again, not the year he wanted. He had a better year. Wants to finish strong and see if he can get another championship next year.
So we do have different picks. So hardly anybody's beaten this guy all year. He basically almost got nothing to lose now. I'm going to go with David Gravel. He's got the hot hand. I think it's his race to lose. But shout out to Justin Peck, who jumped into the Rudine Racing 26, replacing Zeb Wise, had a third place run last night. That he ran real well in there. We talked all year how Zeb Wise was struggling. I forgot last year, I think it was last year, he was in a bad crash and kind of got hurt, so maybe he's never quite recovered from that just yet.
Yeah, maybe that's why they replaced him.
Because he was, he's a All-Star Circuit champion, the whole deal. So it's not like he forgot how to race. So I'm not sure what's going on, but sometimes change is good for everybody. I'm sure he'll land with another team, and we'll see how he goes from there. But hats off to Justin Peck for jumping right in the car and going out and running well against the Outlaws.
Yeah, if Justin Peck makes that a permanent spot for next year, it could be a very positive thing. And then I'm sure Zeb Wise will get a ride somewhere. I mean, he's a heck of a racer. You rarely ever see a sprint car driver, no matter what the level is, in the same car for many years in a row. It just doesn't happen anymore. David Gravel was in a completely different car a few years ago. He's in this car probably for the foreseeable future now, based on his success. But maybe Donnie Schatz and Sheldon now for a few years. But Donnie Schatz definitely the same team for ever.
Sure seems like it.
Yeah. He's been on the team for a long time. I guess you can comment.
Here's the interesting thing with Schatz. Okay, so we all know he runs a Ford. Being a Tony's getting away, out of NASCAR and getting away from Ford, does that car stay a Ford next year? Does it go to Chevy?
I think
Tony's in with
Tony.
Mopar. I don't know if anybody's still building any Mopar sprint car engines, which is weird. I don't know what happened to him.
I think Tony has free reign to really do what he wants at this point. I don't think he has a technical alliance with any manufacturer. Do they try to go Toyotas based on the success that you saw those Toyotas have late in the year? That wouldn't be a bad choice.
I just don't know what happened to the Dodge sprint car engines. Like I said, they ran pretty good. We built a few of them, and they always made good power.
Yeah, because Casey had them on his team for a while, and a lot of Dodge engines seem to die out over the years. Well, I mean, you saw it in NASCAR too; it's been dying out. So NHRA is really all they have. Yeah, and
even them, the engines are, they're all Hemi, so no matter what the sticker says, Chevy, Toyota, or whatever.
Yeah.
But, they're still a Hemi engine.
Well, that does it for our preview for this championship weekend. I think it'll be a good finish to cap off the season. We'll have 2 more episodes coming out for this season because we're going to try one with some guests once everything wraps up with NHRA next week. So we'll see if we can grab some guests on. Once people get to have a little bit of vacation and get them to come on and talk about the season. So we'll see what we can do there. But definitely we're going to preview the NHRA season finale next week at Pomona. Make sure you guys share this. Follow anywhere you get your podcast and follow on all social media platforms. I will be posting that little championship parlay that I had. That's the only thing I have in NASCAR this week because you would think my top 10 finishes would be flawless. No, fuck no, it's not. No, I jinx everybody. It looks good until lap about 485, and then they all crash.
Yeah, well, Mom's whooping us all in fantasy, so.
Well, I was just trying to win like $20 or something, but that's cool. She already clinched that. So it's fun for us to put fantasy on there, but yeah, it's basically who finishes last, you or me. That's what it comes down to on that.
Yeah.
But make sure you guys keep following along, share it, and we'll see you guys next week when we preview NHRA. Enjoy championship weekend. Should be a good one.
Yep. Good night. Thanks for watching.